Hey, Jacob Wade here from Lunch Money, back with another quick Lunch Money tutorial. Today, we're going to talk about auto categorization. Now, if you've connected a bank account or a credit card account or some type of spending account to the Lunch Money app, you might have noticed that some of your transactions have started to come in and they've got categories attached to them. That's because they're being auto categorized by our third-party partner, Plaid, that brings in your transactions. But you're going to want to set some rules so they categorize correctly for your budget moving forward. Now, to set up these rules, you're going to need to go over to the Setup tab under Categories, and you'll see this button over here. Again, only if you've connected a bank account or some type of spending account. You'll see this Set Auto Categorizations button. When you click on that, it'll now give you a list of all the categories, and you're going to have some options here. So as you can see on here, I've got all these different categories, and these are all tagged by our third-party syncing partner, Plaid, that brings in your transactions, and we'll just tag it with a specific category. And you're going to notice a couple of things. There's different symbols that will show up. So under the main thing, you'll see there's this exclamation point with a yellow circle around it. It's saying basically you have some uncategorized transactions in this category. You're going to need to either create a category for it or change those transactions to match a different category. Under each main category, there are all these subcategories. Now, if a transaction comes in under one of these subcategories, a lot of times it'll just land under this main category if you have it created. So let me just show you how this works. So there's a couple things you can do here. Number one is this main category, bank fees. Think of it as like a category group for all of these subcategories in here. And if I just hit create the bank fee category, it'll create a category called bank fees. And that means any transaction that's labeled ATM fees, foreign transaction fees, insufficient funds, overdraft fees, etc., is all going to be labeled bank fees and categorized that way in my transactions. But if I want to go a little more granular, I can create separate categories for each one of these types of transactions. So I'm just going to show you here. I'll hit create under bank. Now I've got a bank fees category. And if I go back to my categories page, you'll see there it is. There's bank fees. And then when I go into my transactions, if there's anything labeled bank fees, it'll show up there. Now let's go back to set auto categorizations. Again, if you notice this black exclamation point here, that means there are transactions that are not categorized, but they fall under this category that's been pre-labeled. So I'm going to go ahead and create the TV and movies category. It looks like I have 12 transactions. I'm going to hit create here. Now, these transactions are still uncategorized. Now, all I have to do is hit this rerun categorization button, and it's going to take those uncategorized transactions and automatically label them TV and movies. So I'm going to hit the button, and now it's applying the transaction rule, and it actually lets me, choose which ones I want to turn on or off. Like, hey, is this count as TV and movies? And I go through all this, and I'm like, yep, it does. And then hit apply. Or you could turn a couple off and say, no, this one actually doesn't apply. And this one doesn't either. And then I'm going to hit apply to 10 transactions. And now all these transactions are no longer uncategorized, but they're categorized exactly how I want them. And now future transactions are going to be labeled TV and movies automatically. So the idea is to map each of these Plaid categories with your own lunch money categories. Now, the final thing you can do under auto categorization is to create missing categories. So maybe you don't want to go through every single one of these and hit create for every single one that has transactions already. You can just hit the whole create missing categories button, and it shows, look, I have 57 different category labels that have come in and are uncategorized. And if I hit this button, it will auto create those categories automatically. I'm not going to do it because I have 57, but maybe you have, 5 or 6 and you're like, oh, I just need to hit this button. What you'll do is you'll hit the button and all of those categories will be automatically created, and then they'll show up in your categories section here. And then you can organize them and put them in your budget and create category groups and basically create your budget categories exactly how you want. But that's how you set up your auto categorization so you can map everything from your transactions into the Lunch Money app. So in the future, everything just happens in the background automatically for you.